Throughout the years, there have been a number of young sprinting prodigies who never managed to reach the levels of performance that was expected from them early in their career. Some sprinters were on an amazing trajectory, but never managed to get back to that level of performance after they sustained a serious injury. In this video, we'll be going into detail on some of the sprinters whose careers didn't quite pan out as they were expected to. The first sprinter we'll be looking at is Christophe Lemaitre. Christophe Lemaitre began sprinting at age 15, and by age 19 he won the Junior Championship 100 metre final in a time of 10.04, which at the time of the race ranked him as the joint second fastest sprinter ever at under 20 level. Lemaitre appeared to go against the standard archetype of a 100 metre sprinter since he had a tall and very light build, but the advantage that came with this was an extremely large stride. Lemaitre typically needed 42 strides to complete 100 metres, and there is even a race where he took just 41 strides, which is the same amount of strides that Usain Bolt typically took to cover 100 metres. In 2010, Lemaitre ran his first sub-10 second 100 metres after just turning 20, which made him the first white man in history to break the 10-second barrier. He went on to run 3 sub-10s in total that season, while also being the star athlete of the European Championships by winning the 100 metres, 200 metres and 4x100 metres relay gold. Lemaitre ran his most impressive times with a strong tailwind, but with the use of a wind conversion calculator to see which of his races would have been best in zero wind conditions, I found that the semi-final of the European Champs was his most impressive performance. He managed to record a time of 10.06 into a minus 1.2 headwind, which would convert to 9.99 in zero wind conditions. In the 2011 season, Lemaitre lowered his 100 metre personal best to 9.92 seconds, while also lowering his 200 metre personal best to 19.80 in the World Championships final, where he won the bronze medal. Lemaitre ran under 10 seconds 4 times in 2011, and his career looked to be on an upward trajectory given that he was still just 21 years old. But in the 2012 season, his performances took a dip and he failed to record any wind-legal sub-10 second finishes. He did, however, manage to defend his European 100 metre title in Helsinki. Lemaitre didn't compete in the 100 metres at the London Olympics, so he placed all of his emphasis on the 200 metres in the hopes of medaling in the 200 for the second year in a row. Given that the bronze medal in the 100 metres was won in a time of 9.79, passing up the opportunity to run the 100 turned out to be a sensible decision. Prior to the Olympics, Lemaitre ran the Crystal Palace meeting with an impressive time of 19.91, but he couldn't replicate this performance at the Olympics, and he just managed to squeeze into the final by running a time of 20.03 in the semi. In the final, he got an unfavourable lane, running in lane 2, and he finished outside the medals in a time of 20.19. In 2013, Lemaitre failed to break the 10-second and 20-second barriers, with his best performance coming in the World Champ semi-final with a time of 10 seconds flat. He finished 7th in the final and didn't compete in the 200 metres at the same championship. Lemaitre's performances seemed to take a step down in 2014 and 2015, but he had his eyes set on winning an Olympic medal in Rio, and he competed in both the 100 metres and 200 metres. He was eliminated in the semi-final of the 100 metres, but he had an impressive performance in the semi-final of the 200 metres with a time of 20.01, which was the fastest he had ran in years. In the final, he managed to just edge third place ahead of Adam Jamili and Chirandi Martina with a time of 20.12, finishing behind Usain Bolt and Andre de Grasse. At the time of winning this bronze medal, Lemaitre had just turned 26, but it seemed as though he had reached his peak in terms of the times he was able to run, and wasn't going to be lowering his PBs that he set at age 21. It is possible that his body wasn't durable enough to sustain multiple years of tough races, or maybe his coaching and training methods were not optimal to help him improve on his natural talent. Lemaitre is currently 31 and missed out on the Tokyo Olympics last year due to illness, but will be hoping to bounce back with a better campaign in 2022. Xavier Carter was an American sprinter who showed signs of amazing potential at the beginning of his career. He won the 2006 NCAA 100 and 400 metre final on the same day, running a PB of 44.53 in the 400, and shortly afterwards he left college to join the professional circuit. In his first 200 metre race on the pro circuit aged just 20, he won the Lausanne meeting with a time of 19.63, with an amazing comeback in the last 50 metres, beating other athletes such as Tyson Gay, Wallace Spearman and Usain Bolt in the process. This time was the second fastest time ever recorded in the event, and it led to speculation that Carter may have been on course to break Michael Johnson's world record in the coming years. Even more surprisingly, it was the first time in his career that he had ran below 20 seconds. He followed this performance up with times of 19.98 and 19.97 to finish out the 2006 season. Carter's 2007 season was hampered by an injury he sustained in the US Champs 200 meter semi-final, so he missed out on the opportunity to qualify for the World Champs in Osaka. The following year he set his sights on qualifying for the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, but he came up short by finishing last in the 100 meter final at the trials, and he didn't start the race in the final of the 200 meters. He didn't run again that season. In 2009 and 2011 he ran the 200 meter at the US Champs in the hope of qualifying for the World Champs, but he failed to make it on both occasions. He had not run sub 20.10 since 2007, and it was clear that his performances were taking a step backwards, and he was failing to live up to the heavy expectations placed on him when he first turned pro. Carter never raced again after the 2011 season, meaning he retired at just 25 years old. Despite having incredible talent across 3 events, he may go down as the greatest one-race wonder in sprint history. Johann Blake is a 32-year-old Jamaican sprinter who holds the second fastest time ever recorded in both the 100 and 200 meters. Blake began running frequent sub-10s at 20 years old in 2010, and in 2011 he was ready to make his breakthrough at the World Championships. Blake was the training partner of Usain Bolt, and after both false started in the 100 meter final of the World Champs, Blake ended up winning the gold medal, making him the youngest athlete ever to do so. Blake set a 100 meter PB of 9.82 that season, but even more impressively he set his 200 meter PB of 19.26 at the Brussels Diamond League, making him the second fastest athlete in the history of the event. He carried his good form with him into the 2012 season, where he beat Usain Bolt at the Jamaican trials at both the 100 and 200 metres, while running a 100 metre PB of 9.75 in the process. At the Olympics, however, Bolt got his revenge and Blake had to settle for the silver medal in the 100 and 200, while running further impressive times of 9.75 and 19.44. In Blake's first Diamond League meet after the Olympics, he ran the best 100 metre of his life by running a time of 9.69 into a headwind of -0.1. After the 2012 season, it was expected that Blake was going to be the main challenger to Bolt at major championships for the next 4 years, and even challenged to break his world records, but it never panned out that way. Blake sustained an injury in the 2013 season, which put an end to his hopes of competing at the World Champs that year. He failed to qualify for the World Champs in 2015 and didn't look race sharp, with his season's best being a time of 10.12. In 2016 he looked to be regaining some of his old form and ran the season's opener in a time of 9.95 and qualified for the Rio Olympics with the same time when he won the Jamaican trials. In the Olympic final he placed 4th in a time of 9.93 behind both Gatlin and DeGrasse. Blake finished 4th in the 2017 World Champs and 5th in the 2019 World Champs, but after his injury in 2013, the fastest time he recorded was 9.90, meaning he was unable to get back to the incredible form he was in prior to his injury. Blake had a disappointing Tokyo Olympics where he got eliminated in the semi-final. It seems unlikely that Blake will be able to win any more individual track medals at this stage of his career, given the amount of talent that is coming through at the moment, but he deserves a great deal of respect for what he's accomplished on the track, even if he had possibly the shortest peak of any of the all-time great sprinters. Which other sprinters do you think had amazing potential that they never managed to fulfill? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching.